contributor at Manhattan Institute's Judy Miller was once based in Egypt as a reporter for the New York Times. I believe it was for the New York Times, right, Judy?
Indeed.
And from Virginia Beach, Brigitte Gabriel, president and CEO of Act for America. First you, Judy, and what is going on behind the scenes in Egypt right now? You know how these people work behind the scenes, as I was just talking about with John.
Well, I think John and you have it right. I think Neil was a little too dramatic in that I don't think President Obama threw the Egyptian president under a bus. I think right now the Egyptians are trying to figure out how they are going to continue into the future with the economic and the political reforms that haven't happened. Now, we've had reform on the economic side, tremendous reform that has accounted for Egypt's extraordinary growth when others, in fact, Egypt was growing faster than the United States in the past 10 years. What they haven't had is political reform. That is what President Hosni Mubarak does not want to part with. And that
sounds a little like China, by the way,
well,
which still has a communist government, but has a lot more free market going on.
There are certain parallels. And also, Hosni Mubarak does not want to be President Ben Ali of Tunisia. He does not want to be forced out by the military. So I believe he wouldn't have given the speech he gave tonight unless he thinks that he has an understanding with the military.
Well, he does, but as Ambassador Bolton just said, his son does not.
No, I agree with John Bolton totally on this. The son is toast. If there's one lesson of this, Gamal Mubarak is not going to succeed his father, but many say he was never going to succeed his father because he was unacceptable to the military.
All right, Brigitte, let me go to you because some of the players, you can just sense the anxiousness of people like Iran, the Iranian mullahs, like Hamas, like all of the radical Muslims in the region. They're just dying for a chance to get their paws into this situation and come out on top. What are they doing behind the scenes from outside of Egypt to get involved?
Well, Khatami today in his sermon, Ayatollah said that we are seeing a new era of Islam in the Middle East. They are very happy about what they are seeing. They are also working with the Muslim Brotherhood, who is stirring the pot in Egypt. All these demonstrations that we see on the streets are organized in the majority by the Muslim Brotherhood. And this is why Mubarak was very afraid to basically tackle political reform in the last 10 years, because he knows that the Muslim Brotherhood is growing and they know exactly what they want to accomplish. Listen, the worldpublicopinion.org did a survey in 2006 and 2007 in Egypt, where they met with people face to face and asked them, what do you want to see reform in the government? And 67% of the people interviewed said two things. They want to see a new Islamic caliphate rule in most Muslim countries in the Middle East, and they want to see strict Islamic Sharia law rule in Egypt. This is why Mubarak was afraid to do any political change in the region and in his country.
All right, but Ambassador Bolton, the key is, as I think you've pointed out time and again, that if you don't have the military on your side, no matter who you are in Egypt, you're not going to win. There was a faction in the military that assassinated Anwar Sadat back in 1981. There were radicals in there. Are they completely expurged, or is it more like Pakistan, where you have these crazy extremists, sort of Taliban supporters mixed in?
Well, that's a very important question. I think after the Sadat assassination, the Brotherhood was pretty effectively purged from the military. But certainly they would make every effort, have made every effort to infiltrate and to get to senior levels. And now we'll see whether or not they've been successful. There has not been much public discussion or much behind-the-scenes information that the Brotherhood has been successful, so I don't expect you're going to see a fragmentation of the military. But if that were to happen, then I think you could have a situation, a real anarchy in Egypt, that an effective, tightly knit organization like the Brotherhood could take advantage of and assume power.
Judy, you were there. I mean, you were based there. Are there radical Islamic factions in the military?
Well, look, there have to be, because they're very hard to get rid of. But the Egyptian security has been very good at monitoring itself. I want to challenge this notion that what we've been seeing on the streets is the product of Muslim Brotherhood instigation. Everything we've seen...
Well, certainly part of it, right?
I don't think it's a large part of it. I think everybody that I've talked to everyone from civil society, pro-democracy activists has said there are no Islamic slogans. What you see are demands for jobs, for greater political expression, for freedom of expression and the right to speak.
But isn't the Muslim Brotherhood trying to co-opt this
Of course
protest?
they will try, but I'm not sure that this movement isn't so much bigger than them that they may not be
But
able
I'm thinking,
to.
Judy, I'm thinking of so many examples where revolutions are always co-opted. They're great seeds to the revolution, whether it's in Russia in 1917 or Nicaragua in 1979, and it's eventually taken over by the Bolsheviks.
But David,
and in this case, the radical Muslims.
Dave, this is not yet a revolution. Mubarak intends to try to hang on. If the military supports him, I think it's going to be very hard for the Muslim Brotherhood to carry out that kind of coup or push. It's just going to be really hard.
That's the last word. Brigitte Gabriel, Judith Miller, Ambassador John Bolton. Great to see all of you. Thank you very much. Coming up on